You can hear this silence, can't you? It's not the absence of sound. It's a different kind of quiet, a dense weight, heavy with something you can't see but feel in your spine. Imagine a dark room, not the darkness of the night outside, with its familiar noises. A darkness that seems to have weight, that smothers any attempt to turn on a light. Inside that darkness, there's a presence. You don't know what it is. Maybe it's nothing. But the way the air feels heavier in that corner, the way a shiver runs down your neck for no apparent reason, that tells you otherwise. Something is there, and it's watching. With each beat of your heart in your chest, the silence seems to deepen, as if the entire environment is holding its breath. Your eyes try to adjust, but the darkness is an impenetrable veil, and the only thing you truly perceive is the amplified sound of your own pulse, a frantic drum that seems to echo the urgency of an invisible threat. You reach out your hand, feeling the void, but find only the cold air. It's a cold that doesn't come from temperature, but from an ethereal contact, an imperceptible touch that chills you to the soul. And with each passing second, the certainty that you're not alone solidifies, transforming the silence into a mute scream that resonates only in your mind. Have you ever had that uneasy feeling of being followed? Not in the street by someone visible, but by a subtle shadow, a persistent thought that accompanies you through the days, infiltrating every moment of distraction. You turn suddenly, looking for something, but find nothing beyond the usual scenery. Only the feeling remains. Like a distant echo of a step you didn't hear, an almost imperceptible vibration at the edge of your perception. It's as if a silent question hangs in the air, awaiting an answer you don't have the courage to give. And the worst part is that this question seems to come from within you, from the deepest place in your consciousness, which you've worked so hard to keep sealed. This feeling gives you no respite. It accompanies you as you make coffee, as you reply to an email, as you try to sleep. It's an invisible parasite, feeding on your peace, transforming every moment of tranquility into a trap of anguish. You try to convince yourself it's just tiredness, stress, your mind playing tricks. But every time the shadow seems to lengthen, in your peripheral vision, or a phantom whisper seems to brush your ear, you know there's something more. And that something more is calling you, inviting you to look at what you've been avoiding. There are secrets we bury deep, aren't there? Things we've done or failed to do, moments we'd like to erase from memory as if they never existed. We believe that time heals, that distance erases. But what if that wasn't the case? What if these memories, these ghosts of the past, had their own way of persisting? Not as occasional flashes, but as an undercurrent, eroding the peace you strive so hard to maintain. Imagine the thin crack that appears on your house wall. At first you barely notice it, but over time it widens, branches out, revealing a deep instability in the structure. Your secrets are these cracks, and guilt. Guilt is the invisible weight that forces them open, that deepens them every day, until the wall threatens to crumble completely. You build walls around them, try to ignore the sounds coming from behind the barricades, but the echo of your own choices, the murmur of your omissions, never completely dies down. It's a constant reminder, a dissonant melody that plays in the back of your mind, no matter how loud you turn up the music to drown it out. And this melody has lyrics, a story that insists on being told. With each prolonged silence, each moment of reflection, the wall begins to tremble. And you know, deep in your soul, that sooner or later, it will collapse. Do you know that bad feeling that hits you without warning? In the middle of a mundane conversation, while you're having your breakfast, suddenly a wave of anguish washes over you. Your heart races, your hands get cold, a knot forms in your throat. You look for a logical reason, a trigger in the environment, but find nothing. It's as if a voice whispers a warning, a premonition of something imminent, something you can't avoid, no matter how hard you try to distract yourself. This feeling is a reminder that not everything is under control, that there are invisible forces at play in the shadows, shaping your destiny in ways you can't even imagine. It's a shiver that runs down your spine, not from cold, but from a chilling intuition that the ground beneath your feet could give way at any moment. You try to rationalize, to dismiss the idea. But the feeling is visceral, almost physical, like a primitive warning your body recognizes before your mind can even process it. And each time it resurfaces, stronger, more insistent. You ask yourself, where does this come from? Is it a suppressed memory? A glimpse of the future? Or the weight of your own actions finally beginning to take its toll, dragging you towards an inevitable outcome? Have you ever caught yourself looking at your reflection in the mirror and feeling like there's a stranger there? The features are yours. The gaze is familiar, but there's something different. A subtle shadow behind the eyes, a weariness that can't be explained by sleepless nights. It's as if the mirror reflects not just your physical image, but also the weight of something unsaid, of a truth hidden even from yourself. And for a brief moment, you have the disturbing feeling that this other person, this familiar stranger, knows something you've forgotten. Or worse, something you refuse to remember. The reflection doesn't blink at the same time as you, or maybe it's just your mind, but for a split second, the gaze in the mirror seems to penetrate yours, as if searching for something deep in your soul, something you hide even from yourself. And when you pull away, the image persists in your mind, a ghostly vision that follows. You, a constant reminder of a duality you cannot ignore. Every time you pass a reflective surface, a shop window, a puddle, the reflection seems to call to you, daring you to face the truth it holds. There are places that carry a heavy atmosphere with them, aren't there? An old abandoned house, with its empty windows like lifeless eyes. A dark street late at night where shadows seem to move independently of the wind. A dense forest where the sun barely penetrates, and the air is heavy with the smell of damp, earth and decaying leaves. You've never been there before, but you feel an unexplained shiver, a sense of somber déjà vu. It's as if the place itself remembers something terrible that happened there, and that residual memory permeates the air, affecting anyone who approaches. Perhaps there are no visible ghosts, but the feeling that you're not alone is almost palpable, an ethereal presence that envelops you. Every sound, every shadow seems to confirm this invisible presence. The creaking of a branch, a whisper of the wind through dry leaves, the distant sound of something you can't identify, but that makes you hold your breath. It's as if time itself has stopped in that place, trapping the past in a thick mist that can only be felt, not seen. And with every step you take, you seem to sink deeper into a story that isn't yours, but that now holds you with its invisible claws. Have you ever had a dream so vivid that when you wake up you can't distinguish reality from fiction? The emotions are so intense, the details so sharp, that the dream experience seems to have left a real mark on your soul. The scenarios seemed too real, the voices, the touches, the fear. And even as the sharpness of the memory begins to fade, the feeling persists. An unexplained fear, a deep sadness, a suffocating guilt. Are these dreams just manifestations of the subconscious, or are they fragments of another reality? Warnings of something to come, or echoes of something that has already happened and that you're trying to ignore? The line between what's real and what was dreamed becomes so thin that you start to doubt your own sanity. And every night, you fear closing your eyes, fearing being dragged back into that nightmare, that hidden truth that only reveals itself in the depths of your sleep. You try to ignore the echoes of the dream during the day, but they manifest in small gestures, in lapses of memory, in moments of distraction, where the image of the nightmare superimposes itself on reality for a brief and terrifying instant. And that book you read a long time ago, that movie you watched by chance, a story that haunted you, characters that stayed etched in your mind, suddenly years later a situation in your real life mirrors that fiction in a disturbing way. A dialogue, an event, a tiny detail that perfectly aligns with the narrative that seemed so distant. Could it just be a coincidence? Or is life imitating art in a sinister way, as if you're caught in a predetermined script, unconsciously walking towards an already written ending? With each new similarity, a sinking feeling in your stomach. With each new twist that resembles the plot. A growing sense that you are not the author of your own story, but merely a character in a larger drama, whose final pages have yet to be revealed. You try to change course, to deviate from the plot, but events seem to pull you inexorably towards the same end, like an irresistible magnet. And with each step, the most terrifying question: if the end of the story is already written, can you truly escape your own destiny? Can you feel the weight of the silence now? It's no longer empty. It's filled with unanswered questions, unrevealed mysteries, secrets whispered in the shadows. And with each passing moment, the feeling that something is about to happen intensifies. Something that could change everything. Something that perhaps you already know, deep in your soul, but that your mind refuses to accept. The question is, are you ready to face the truth, no matter how dark it may be? Or will you continue to live in this twilight of uncertainty, haunted by a mystery that feeds on your own ignorance? As the shadows lengthen and the silence becomes increasingly deafening, the ticking of the clock seems louder, marking every second that brings you closer to the revelation. Your nerves are on edge, every fiber of your being alert for the imminent. And with each breath, you ask yourself, what comes next? And what, or who, is waiting for you at the end of this dark journey?